Hello, this presentation is for Project Management Assessment, and this is Patrick Powers along with Jeremy Fox, and we are going to talk about console gaming versus mobile gaming and how it's really a shift in the gaming industry recently. So to start off, let's really define what console versus mobile is. A console is hardware that is developed for the sole purpose of gaming, for example, Xbox 360. Now, some could argue that it does have some additional purposes now, that you can stream, for example, Netflix or Hulu through it. However, when it was created, which was mid 2005, 6-ish, around there, it was developed for the purpose of actually gaming, for interacting with other gamers, whether that be the online purpose, but it was all centered around gaming, and that is the same with PlayStation 3, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and all those lines of console games. And then we introduce mobile. Mobile is basically hardware that has multiple purposes that include gaming. So whether it's emailing, browsing the web, interacting with your calendar, interacting with your social features within the mobile device, those are all interactions beyond the gaming side of things. However, gaming is also a big part of the mobile industry at this point, and there is the thought that maybe mobile is causing a threat towards the console gaming. So really, starting there, let's start on the side that might say no, console gaming is not a threat mobile gaming is not a threat to console gaming. First of all, there's a huge difference in the gaming experience. Console gaming has been developed over time as an immersive experience where the users are sitting behind the TV for hours. Due to some limitations within the mobile experience, as well as the type of gamer a mobile game basically attracts, this just hasn't been made possible. The gaming experience is very different. Also, that leads into the next reason as to why mobile games is not a threat to the traditional console, which is the fact that console gaming industry caters to a different type of gamer. Due to the controls, the power of the machines, and the level of interactions with the game, the console gaming industry is able to interact with their gamers at such a deeper level, and it draws their users in for hours on end. Also, mobile is less powerful in the responsiveness of the devices. They're not quite there, not quite as responsive. Up until recently, nearly all console games, the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3, had much better specs than all mobile devices. It really wasn't until the iPad 3 that graphic cards became more comparable. What is still lacking is the responsiveness of the devices and the processing power. For the mobile industry, it has come closer to threatening the console industry, or in order for it to become more of a threat, the power of the devices and the ability to interact with the games needs to be more responsive. And mobile devices has a high turnover. Consoles tend to stay at the top of their game for 6 to 10 years, while mobile devices are switched out constantly. For example, Apple has many generations of the newest hardware in a very short period of time. The level of generation within the iPad and the iPhones, it works, but it doesn't really work for the gaming industry. Development for games and consoles can sometimes take 2 to 3 years at least, and with the iPad and then the iPad 2, iPad 3, and now the latest iPad, those all are within a generation of about 1 year each. Really, to maximize the performance of the iPad, developers really need to acclimate to the hardware, generate basically really experience a good experience for the gamers, and put it out on a quality product within 1 year, which can be very difficult within the time frames that they're used to on the console gaming. Next, we'll talk about why the mobile industry could be a threat to the console industry. First of all, mobile hardware is improving. So while you might say that the generations of the mobile devices is a negative, it could also be looked at as a positive. They are getting better and better. Like I said, the graphics cards are coming a long way with some devices, and processors are getting faster and faster. Also, mobile devices hardware cycles versus the console cycle. While you could look at this as a negative, it can also be a positive. Because the consoles sit around for 6 to 10 years, their ability to become more powerful or adapt is less responsive. Mobile devices do come out constantly throughout the year, if not multiple times throughout the year. For example, iPhone has gone through many generations. The Samsung Galaxy S2, 3, 4 is going through many generations, and they're able to come out with more responsive and more powerful devices on a shorter time frame, allowing for potential better user experiences within the mobile devices and allowing it to actually catch up. Also, lastly, that's less expensive. Games tend to run anywhere from 99 cents to $9.99 on a mobile device, whereas when you're looking at the console, it could be upwards of $60 a game. Also, the barrier of entry, mobile devices could be very comparable to console devices. And the fact is, mobile devices have many more purposes rather than just the game. So it's really, when you look at it, much less expensive, not only when you actually have subsidies from the wireless carriers to help with the phone's costs, but just in general, it is much easier for someone to download a game for 99 cents than it is to go purchase a gaming console for the purpose of gaming only and then spend $60 on one particular game. So now I'm going to hand it over to Jeremy, and he's going to run through the rest of the presentation, starting with console gamers versus mobile gamers.
Thank you, Patrick. All right, let's take a look at console gamer versus mobile gamer. So, a console gamer. This is a great quote by Rene Ricci from crackberry.com, which states, "They're looking for full-on, immersive, cinematic, heart-pounding, blood racing, all-on assault." So the console gamer, they want to be very immersed in the game. They want to feel like they're almost a part of it, and that's what a console game can really do for a gamer. You're not only playing on a much larger screen, so that you get a better cinematic experience while you're playing the game, but you can also play with surround sound, so you actually kind of feel like you're in the game. And that's really what the console gamer is looking for, that all immersive, heart pounding cinematic experience that really only at this point a console game can give you. The mobile gamer, on the other hand, is really known as more of a casual gamer, someone who does not want to devote a great deal of time to the game. They enjoy games but don't have the time, usually played during micro breaks throughout the day. I know for me, just speaking from experience, that's exactly how I use my mobile phone for gaming is during micro breaks. So while I'm on break from work or lunch, I pull it out, play a little Angry Birds or something, and put it away. I'm on it for maybe 10-15 minutes at a time, and it's those little micro breaks that the mobile gamer is really using to play their game. So they're not really looking for that all immersive, cinematic, heart-pounding experience that the console gamer is looking for. Okay, so mobile game limitations. The first thing is spotty network connections. So obviously on a mobile device, when playing online games, the phone's network connection can quickly make or break the game. If network is dropped in the middle of gameplay, the game could become completely unplayable. So this is more evident during multiplayer online games. So a spotty network connection can really break a game. Limited battery life. So obviously playing games is very resource intensive on these little devices, and they have very limited battery life. When you're playing a lot of video games on a mobile device, you're using the OpenGL to render all those high def graphics, which is very, very, very resource intensive and will quickly increase the amount of battery consumption and reduce the overall life of the charge of the battery. So, which will limit the amount of gameplay, obviously. So, battery life is another huge limitation to mobile gaming. So limited screen real estate. Phones are getting bigger and bigger. There's a new term called phablet, which would obviously be a mix between a phone and a tablet. And there is also tablets, but we still have to consider the other smaller phones. Like, at this point, we have the iPhone 3G, 3GS, 4, and 4S, which all have a 3.5-inch screen. That's a really, really, really small screen to be playing a game on, especially when the controls have to be on the same screen itself, so they reduce some of the screen real estate that can be used for the game. So game developers have to be really smart about how they're going to lay out the game to maximize the amount of screen real estate that the game can use. Otherwise, the user experience of the game can be greatly diminished, which will obviously reduce the amount of gameplay for that game. So screen real estate is another major limitation. Let's take a look at a successful mobile gaming franchise. Obviously, Angry Birds is one of the largest mobile gaming franchises ever. They now actually sell merchandise in retail stores. They have their games in arcades across the country, and it all started from the mobile games. So let's take a look at what makes Angry Birds so successful. So here are 5 reasons Angry Birds is such a successful mobile gaming franchise. The first is the simplicity. It's easy to pick up. My 3-year-old loves playing Angry Birds. I enjoy it myself, and does my mother. There really is no age that's too young or old for Angry Birds. It's that simple to pick up and play. So continuing on, number 2, achievement, feeling of accomplishment. You instantly start seeing rewards adding up. Also, depending on the skill level you choose when playing the game, you can unlock additional levels after beating the game. Number 3, satisfaction, highly addictive. The game's sound effects, themes, and graphics make it very enjoyable to play, not to mention smashing buildings and destroying little pigs. Everybody loves that. Number 4, casual. Play for a minute or an hour. Angry Birds makes it very easy for the gamer on the go to quickly pull out the game, fire off some birds, do some damage, then lock your phone and get back to work. Conversely, you can enjoy it for hours if you aren't in a hurry. And last, number 5, popularity breeds more popularity. When Angry Birds was first released and the early adopters started getting hooked on it, they created a little buzz. So it all started from this little buzz, because this little buzz quickly spread like crazy as others started getting curious about what this new game was. More and more people started hearing about it, playing it, and of course spreading the Angry Birds fever. And it is what we now know it is today, is the monster that is Angry Birds in all of its different forms, merchandise, clothing, console games, arcade games, and the numerous phone and tablet games for iOS and Android and Windows Phone and everything. And there is 5 reasons that Angry Birds is such a successful mobile gaming franchise. And that will wrap up the presentation from Patrick and myself. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching.